Well, now that we're down to the final two teams in Champions League, let's take a second to remember the journey of these teams this season. For PSG, they finished 15th in the league phase, and you guys know that Paris is usually the city of love, but they threw romance out the window when they demolished Brest 10-0 in the knockout phase playoff, and they followed that up with performances by beating Liverpool, Aston Villa, and Arsenal. Now for Inter Milan, they finished 4th in the league phase, so they automatically qualified for the round of 16 where they beat Feyenoord. They then went on to beat Bayern Munich and Barcelona, giving us a tie that truly made us fall in love with soccer again. Now, I don't know why I'm out of breath. I think I was running around in the studio right before trying to get through that. All right, guys, so we're going to have PSG Inter head-to-head, predict how all of this will play out. Tom, you are going to walk us through it, and then these two are going to tell us if they agree or not.
Tom, into the camera, you need your social media handle, please, so they know where to find you.
You know where to find me. You can find me on socials. Let's go through the tail of the tape. Are we starting with the attack?
Let's start with the attack.
We're starting with the attack. So this one I think is very interesting. It is very tight. I'm giving the lean to PSG because I think that they're more versatile. They have different ways to beat you. But the front line for Inter Milan, they have more physicality and they have more that they can do. But I really like the fluidity and everything that's going on with Dembele, particularly if he's fit, as we'd expect him to be, because he was able to come off the bench, and Kvaratskhelia, like just those two players alone. And then you add in Barcola or Doué, that's too much for me.
I agree. I do think that the fluidity of PSG's attack, especially when they'll be able to sit back and watch film from the second leg against Arsenal, there was a couple of times Desiree Doué could have just laid it off to Barcola. I think there was probably 3 opportunities where he had that, and they create so many chances. It's just the final decision-making, I think, has the upper hand over Inter. Yes, physical. Yes, 2 up top.
It's strange because it's 2 forward lines with completely different compositions, and the tandem for Inter has worked really well.
And I think Inter is going to prove a lot of issues for that PSG central defense just with the physicality on top of the quality and the movement.
All right, who has the edge when it comes to midfield?
So for the midfield, I'm going to go PSG again because that midfield trio balances each other so very well. You have the flash and you have industry, and then again you have Fabian Ruiz coming up with that goal to encapsulate all of the great work that he's been doing that we maybe not notice when you're not always watching him off the ball, or the little things that's easy to overlook, of like a perfectly timed pass, perfectly weighted pass, rather than the pyrotechnics of a 40-yard diagonal or anything else. So the PSG midfield, again, it's extremely balanced, and Inter are going to have their hands full of trying to contain that.
This is splitting hairs here, really, because Inter's midfield works really well. It's the reason why the entire engine functions. But I agree with you, the way that, Vitinha has played, João Neves in the recovery, Fabian Ruiz working on both sides of the ball is absolutely incredible.
I have to agree, but I wonder if the physicality is going to affect PSG a lot in this one.
I don't think that, I think that's going to come more from, the central defense and the forwards more so than the center midfield. I just don't think that Inter Milan's central midfielders are going to be able to keep up with this trio. I think that they're going to need a lot of help from the wing backs and from the center backs and maybe a little back pressing.
If you can make this game sloppy for PSG in the midfield, I think Inter are onto something. They didn't play well yesterday, and it was against Aston Villa in the second leg where they also didn't play well, where we are throwing so much flowers out for Vitinha because he doesn't lose the ball and he gets everybody activated. The moment they start risking passes, that he can't find outlets, Inter could find an avenue towards success there.
All right, do you give the edge to PSG for the defense, or are you going for Inter Milan on this one?
So we could have a couple philosophical questions. Do the wingbacks count as midfielders in the back 3? And same thing kind of with the way that PSG's fullbacks, wingbacks play. I don't care. I think I'm going to group them all together. The wingbacks on both of these teams is going to be an X factor for me. But defense, it is Inter Milan. They've been the best defense in Europe. Again, it sounds silly. Over those 2 legs against Barcelona, they didn't play bad defensively, I don't think. I think that was a lot of Barcelona's attack being so special. They did enough to get through. It's going to be another difficult task against PSG. Again, all of the versatility, the combinations, the pace of play, the pace of thought, all of that's going to be difficult. But for me, it is that Inter Milan central defense in particular, as well as the wingbacks, of course. But I think with PSG center backs, like I said, with the forwards, they're going to have their hands full with Thuram and Lautaro.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
All right, no debate for that one.
Here's the big one.
Okay, how about goalkeeper? Is there a debate on this one? Goalkeepers played a big factor in both semifinals.
The fact that you were making me pick is very, very difficult. I don't like this. I think both of these keepers are world class. I'm going to go Donnarumma, though. So I think that he has a little bit more to do than Jan Sommer does, particularly some of those big, big moments. And again, like it might sound a little counterintuitive, given what Sommer did against Barcelona.
Right.
Some of those, like, world class, right?
Yep.
Like 1A and 1B. So this isn't a knock on Sommer in any way, but for me, it's GG.
Can I play devil's advocate here and kind of push you towards
please.
answering the other way? If Tom Bogert played in both goals, which team would win the final?
There would have been about 47 goals.
Okay, and who would win the final?
Well, probably the final. Well, PSG will attack more, so they'll have more chances.
Okay, you said PSG?
Well, that's because a shot on goal is mostly going to be a goal if you put me in net.
So maybe Jan Sommer is more critical.
Give yourself
I don't think that that's the bar. I don't think that's the bar.
for
Give yourself some
PSG.
credit, Tom.
I don't know, man. There was one game in college where I was the recognized backup keeper, and I just thought it was a good thing to say, and then our goalie went down, and I was terrified. So Champions League stage, relax, tranquilo.
Did you go in goal?
No, thank God. I was like putting on gloves, and the other team was probably like, "Who's this 5'7" guy?" That was like, "Please give me the ball, let me shoot." And I'm like, "Please get up, please get up."
But he's got the aura, the vibe with the mustache and the goalkeeper, right?
It's the hair, too.
Exactly.
He just needs a headband right here. You just need the hairline headband.
That will give you all the confidence you need.
The American reincarnation of Jorge Campos in net. You know, like with the vibe and everything, 100% you go down that alley.
Very kind. But I want to talk about these real teams. This is too much about me.
All right, you are showing up as Jorge Campos, the American version, the next time you're on the show. All right, finally, manager. Who has the edge here?
Again, I think that both of these managers have done extremely well in this run. You need to be pushing the right buttons and setting your team up well. Luis Enrique, for me, is the edge on this one. What he did to get Dembele through the center, like that, isn't an obvious change. They spent a lot of money on Gonzalo Ramos. It is the intuitive decision to play a natural center forward at center forward, and that has been the difference that took PSG from a good team, maybe a very good team, to potentially a Champions League winning team. And just that alone, I think, has defined this run.
Yeah. I mean, we're splitting hairs. I think Inzaghi is a very good coach. I saw your list. I think the widest breach between attack, midfield, defense, this is like 60-40. Maybe this is 60-42. I do think Donnarumma is a better goalkeeper than Jan Sommer, but here. Oh, and defense also. Maybe 60-40 in favor of Inter, but between midfielder, manager, 51-49, you know?
Yeah, we'll see. Well, maybe if we have you do it tomorrow, maybe things change for you. Maybe Nico's convinced you to go one way or the other.